Well, a very good evening and thank you for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Ashmit Kumar and here are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. The window to exchange or deposit 2,000 rupee notes opens across all bank branches. No unusual rush or queues at banks across most metros. The Delhi High Court reserves its order on a plea challenging exchange of the notes without a requisition slip or identity proof. Government makes tests mandatory for cough syrups before they are exported. The move comes after World Health Organization linked the deaths of children in Gambia and Uzbekistan to cough syrups made in India. Adani stocks see green for the third day running. Adani Ports becomes the first among the group's 10 entities to recoup all losses since the Hindenburg report in January. Reports say Rajiv Jain of GQG Partners has hiked his stake in the group. Vedanta declares an interim dividend of more than 18 rupees per share. This is the sixth dividend announced in the last 12 months. Anil Agarwal stands to gain nearly 4,700 crore rupees for his 68% stake in the company. All businesses with annual turnover of more than 5 crore rupees will move to the e-invoicing of B2B transactions under the goods and services tax. Earlier, the threshold was 10 crores. The new rule will take effect from the 1st of August. The clock is ticking. United States government has just over a week to avert a possible debt default. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says talks with President Biden were productive, but no deal has been reached yet. Prime Minister addresses the Indian diaspora with his Australian counterpart in Sydney. Both nations are hoping to boost trade and defence relationship to counter China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific region. Haryana police claim to have busted a major cybercrime racket in New district, arrests 60 and detains over 120. Top Haryana cop tells CNBC-TV18 that the cyber criminals defrauded people to the tune of over 100 crore rupees. Claim that there has been a 26% decline in complaints following these raids. Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal meets West Bengal counterpart Mamta Banerjee to garner support against the centre's ordinance on appointments of bureaucrats. Kejriwal will also meet prominent leaders from the opposition such as Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar this week. WhatsApp rolls out its latest feature allowing users to edit messages. Users can opt to change their text within 15 minutes of sending a message. The global update will be available to users in a couple of weeks. Well, straight to the day's trading action now. A volatile day saw the markets give up the intraday gains in the last hour. Nifty and the Sensex ended flat but with a slight positive bias. Nifty is still below that 18,400 mark, however. Mid-caps outperformed with that index gaining over 0.5%. And in the spotlight today, all Adani Group stocks ended in the green for the third straight day. The group's overall market cap crossed 11 lakh crores. That's not all. Adani Ports recouped all the stock losses that it had incurred since the Hindenburg report was published. Meanwhile, according to Bloomberg, Rajiv Jain's GQG Partners has upped its stake in the Adani Group. Jain is also likely to participate in the conglomerate's future fundraising. Well, it's day one of the Reserve Bank's 130-day window to exchange or deposit 2,000 rupee notes. And now banks across the country are allowing people to exchange up to 10 2,000 rupee notes at a time till the 30th of September. Now, according to the RBI's announcement, no exchange fee will be levied for depositing or exchanging the currency. Our reporters are on the ground taking stock of the situation at different bank branches. There are so far no reports of long queues outside any of the banks. Shivani Bazaz and Santia Gora get us this mood check.
Starting today onwards, anyone who possesses a 2000 rupee note can either exchange or deposit that note in any of the bank branch. Now talking about Bank of Baroda, right now we are in the Worli branch of Bank of Baroda, and talking about what the procedure here is, obviously a lot of clarity is yet to come, but this is the form which Bank of Baroda has given us. So here you can see, of course, they are asking for Aadhaar card and other your Aadhaar card. Now talking about SBI, SBI said that no identification proof will be required. Even this form doesn't need to be filled. But as far as Bank of Baroda branch is concerned, as of now, we have been given this form to fill and we have been asked to submit our Aadhaar card as well.
They have to just provide some information. What is his account number अगर हमारे साथ हैं तो whether he is going to deposit in the account or he is want to exchange. If he want to exchange, the 10 note is the limitations is there. Otherwise he can deposit in their account.
But what about this form and Aadhaar card or any other ID form, sir? ID card?
जो भी कस्टमर हमारे हैं जिनके अकाउंट है हमारे पास there is no need. मतलब जो हमारे नॉन कस्टमर साथ हैं तो उनकी आइडेंटिटी के लिए हम उनके कुछ भी डिटेल्स हमें OBD प्रॉपर्टी ले मिल सकते हैं.
So we are at the fourth branch of ICICI Bank and talking about the exchange and deposit of 2000 rupees notes which has started from today. So at ICICI Bank, especially this branch, this is the form which needs to be filled if somebody wants to exchange their 2000 rupee notes. Now talking about this form, along with this form, those people who don't have an account with ICICI Bank, they will also need to submit an ID card. This is what the bank staff has told CNBC-TV18. Now, the bank staff has also said that in order to make things easier for the customers, if some people are not willing to fill this form, in that case the bank can make do with a deposit slip, sort of a slip as well. The bank staff has told us that all this is for the internal usage, but and this is actually for non-ICICI Bank customers, but an ID card is a must. In Mumbai, with camera person Sohail Akhtar, this is Santya for CNBC-TV18.
Well, as the day has progressed, no rush still for the exchange of 2000 rupee notes. Some banks are seeing higher than usual deposits. Some banks that we visited are seeing small queues also. The State Bank of India here, the Kasturba Gandhi Marg in Delhi has already collected rupees 22 lakhs in 2000 rupee denomination since this morning. This number includes both deposits as well as exchanges. Also, there is no set rule as we have seen across banks. Some private banks like ICICI Bank are asking customers to fill some forms with basic details. However, other banks like SBI and PNB that we visited are allowing exchanges without any forms whatsoever. But still no rush across banks. Bank officials told us that they don't expect like large numbers of people queuing up, but they have made necessary arrangements that have been put in place.
Well, the Delhi High Court has reserved orders on the PIL challenging the Reserve Bank and the State Bank of India's notifications for withdrawal of 2000 rupee notes. Now, the petitioner challenged the notification for permitting the exchange of currency notes without requirement of any identity proof. The plea also called the decision arbitrary and in violation of Article 14 of the Constitution. The government has lowered the threshold for e-invoicing from 10 to 5 crore rupees. All GST-registered businesses with a turnover of 5 crore rupees and more will have to carry B2B transactions via e-invoices from the 1st of August. In corporate action, Tata Chemicals has reappointed R. Mukundan as the Managing Director and CEO for 5 years, and this will come into effect from the 26th of November. During his 26-year stint at the company, Mukundan held various responsibilities across the chemical, automotive and hospitality sectors of the group. Well, Vedanta has declared an interim dividend of more than 18 rupees per share for this fiscal year. This is the 6th dividend announced by the company in just the last 12 months. Hormaz Fatakia is joining us now with more details. Hormaz, 6th dividend in a space of 12 months. What's different this time around?
That's right. And before I get into more details, let me just clear the basics first. And Vedanta on Monday night declared an 18.5 rupees dividend for its shareholders. And as you said, over the last 6 instances, it has paid 120 rupees as dividends, which includes 101 rupees that it paid in FY23. But what is interesting this time around is the timing of the announcement, as it comes just a week ahead of a $500 million debt maturity of its parent, Vedanta Resources. Now, Vedanta has been on the hunt for cash from its companies after its proposed $3 billion deal with Hindustan Zinc was stalled due to concerns raised by the government. Now, billionaire promoter Anil Agarwal has multiple times in the past denied reports of him planning any stake sale in the company. However, March quarter shareholding pattern shows that Vedanta Resources' stake in the listed entity was down to 68.1% from 69.69% in December. So now, based on this shareholding pattern, Vedanta Resources will earn 4,683 crore rupees as dividend, which when converted is equal to $564 million, which would mostly be used to repay that debt. Now, although shareholders have been richly rewarded so far, the question is whether this can sustain considering the upcoming debt maturities. As of the 31st of March, Vedanta had net debt of 45,260 crore rupees. And the muted reaction on the stock price is a possible outcome of this uncertainty.
Well, thanks a lot for that, Hormaz. Meanwhile, Bloomberg has reported that Vedanta has raised about $850 million in loan from JP Morgan and Oaktree. The company has also a $500 million bond maturing at the end of this month. Well, here's a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. SpiceJet chairman and managing director Ajay Singh has said that the process to revive the grounded fleet has begun thanks to $50 million worth of funds from emergency credit scheme and internal accruals. This, according to a letter accessed by CNBC-TV18 from the chairman to the airline's employees. The letter also adds that a restructuring exercise is underway to further reduce liabilities. The airline has also increased their captain's salary to over 7 lakh rupees per month for 75 hours of flying. Well, another cash-strapped airline, Go First, is considering resuming office operations by the end of this month. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 that the airline will begin its domestic flight operations with a small fleet. Well, EV mobility startup Simple Energy has launched its first e-scooter. The Simple One Energy e-scooter is priced at 1.45 lakh rupees with a certified range of over 200 kilometers. Deliveries will begin in Bengaluru from the 6th of June, and the company plans to deliver the vehicles in a phased manner. In a conversation with CNBC-TV18, the company's founder and CEO Suhas Rajkumar said that they are targeting revenues of 1,500 crore rupees over the next 12 months. Well, cough syrups being exported from India will now be tested in government labs. The Directorate General of Foreign Trade has made testing of cough syrups mandatory after the World Health Organization linked the deaths of children in Uzbekistan and Gambia to cough syrups made in India. Ekta Batra is joining us now with more details on this move and what the implications may be. Ekta.
Thanks for that. Yes, in order to ensure quality, the Directorate General of Foreign Trade has made it mandatory for exporters of cough syrups to get them tested at a government lab before they are shipped out. Now, according to the notification, exporters will have to produce the Certificate of Analysis or a COA from the government labs to be able to export cough syrups effective the 1st of June. The notification comes after a spate of incidents involving contaminated cough syrups exported by Indian companies in the past 6 to 7 months. These incidents include Indian company Made in Pharma's cough syrups being allegedly linked to the death of over 65 children in Gambia, while Marion Biotech's cough syrup was linked to the alleged death of 18 children in Uzbekistan. The Indian government has refuted the allegations on Made in Pharma. The latest incident was the WHO issuing an alert on a cough syrup manufactured by Punjab-based QP Pharma Chem and marketed by Haryana-based Trillium Pharma. The cough syrup was identified in Marshall Islands and Micronesia and analyzed by the Australian drug regulators, the Therapeutic Goods Administration or TGA of Australia. The common thread amongst all the incidents are cough syrups being substandard or contaminated with unacceptable levels of diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol. Remember, they are colorless, odorless, sweetish-tasting substances which are mostly used for industrial purposes. The two substances can be toxic if there is any contamination to the pharma grade and if it is consumed beyond the recommended levels. The DGFT has said the certificate of analysis can be obtained from various government labs, including the India Pharmacopoeia Commission, Ghaziabad, and Central Drug Labs. Indian companies we did reach out to have indicated that there could be delays, possibly by a week, for more compliant companies, but overall it is a good move for the industry. The DGFT notification seems to be a part of steps undertaken by the Indian government to ensure quality of exports and to protect the image of India being the pharmacy of the world. And remember, it is not just cough syrups. Earlier this year, Chennai-based company Global Pharma has been accused of manufacturing eye drugs which are linked to cases of vision loss and one death in the US. The Indian government now seems to be taking notice as just a few weeks earlier, the government cancelled licenses of 18 pharma companies allegedly manufacturing spurious drugs, and as many as 76 pharma companies were inspected across the country by the state and central drug regulators.
Right, Ekta, thanks a lot for that. And with that, it's time now to slip into a very short break. But coming up, United States government has just over a week to avert a possible debt default. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says talks with President Biden were productive, but no deal has been reached yet. Details when we come back. Welcome back. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed over 20,000 members of the Indian diaspora, along with his Australian counterpart, Anthony Albanese, in Sydney. The event celebrated the presence of a diverse Indian diaspora in Australia. Prime Minister Albanese thanked Prime Minister Modi for bringing the spirit of the world's biggest democracy. Prime Minister Modi said that Indo-Australia ties are based on mutual trust. The two leaders will be holding bilateral talks tomorrow to boost their trade and defense partnerships amidst China's growing aggression in the Indo-Pacific region.
भारत ऑस्ट्रेलिया के संबंध 3D पर आधारित है। डेमोक्रेसी, डायस्पोरा और दोस्ती। भारत और ऑस्ट्रेलिया के ऐतिहासिक संबंधों का विस्तार इससे कहीं ज्यादा बड़ा है। सबसे बड़ा आधार है म्यूचुअल ट्रस्ट और म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट।
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also inaugurate the new Parliament building in Delhi on the 28th of May, as per an official invitation by the Lok Sabha Secretariat. Now, the opening coincides with the birth anniversary of V.D. Savarkar. The Congress party opposed the inauguration, saying that President Draupadi Murmu should be the one to do it. Prime Minister Modi had performed the groundbreaking ceremony on the building in December 2020. Meanwhile, Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal met his West Bengal counterpart, Mamta Banerjee, to garner support against the centre's ordinance on appointments of bureaucrats. Kejriwal will also be meeting prominent opposition leaders Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar this week.
की सरकार नहीं बनती, वहां कानून का गलत इस्तेमाल करके गवर्नर के जरिए ऑर्डिनेंस पास करके ये तरह तरह से उस नॉन बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट को काम ही नहीं करने देते। हमने वेस्ट बंगाल में भी देखा गवर्नर कैसे तंग कर रहे हैं, हमने वहां भी देखा, पंजाब में भी देख रहे हैं, पूरे तमिलनाडु में देख रहे हैं, तेलंगाना में देख रहे हैं किस तरह से गवर्नर तंग कर रहे हैं। और अब दिल्ली के अंदर इन्होंने जो किया वो तो बिल्कुल ही जनतंत्र के खिलाफ है।
हम लोगों ने आपस में बैठे बातचीत किए और जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट वर्डिक्ट देने का बाद भी जो ऑर्डिनेंस लेके आया सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट के खिलाफ में, हमारा पार्टी के लिए मैं सब पार्टी को अपील करेंगे कि अगर हर पार्टी हम एक साथ में अपोजिशन हो सकता है, दिस इज द मौका है।
Well, the Haryana police has unearthed a major cybercrime racket in the state. The investigations found that sophisticated financial crimes were being carried out from 14 locations in a little-known town called Nu in Haryana. 125 people have been detained for allegedly indulging in 28,000 cases of cybercrime and duping victims to the tune of more than 100 crore rupees. Parikshit Luthra is joining us now on the modus operandi of these cyber criminals. Take a look.
Yes, this is a story of nationwide cyber attacks launched from New district in Haryana. Approximately 125 people detained, 66 arrested for at least 28,000 financial crimes. All victims put together were defrauded to the tune of allegedly 100 crore rupees. And this happened across Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh and Andaman and Nicobar. You can understand the scale of this operation by the fact that 102 teams of 5,000 policemen were sent to raid 14 villages to arrest the accused. 40 cyber experts had to be roped in to interrogate the accused, and assistance was also sought from banks, NPCI, UPI intermediaries, UIDI, social media companies as well. 219 bank accounts and 140 UPI accounts were used for committing these frauds. Now, how did all of this work? What was the modus operandi? Victims were lured on Facebook and OLX with fake ads, such as advertisements of cars and motorcycles. Victims who called on the numbers advertised were cheated on the pretext of courier charges. Fake work-from-home advertisements on social media were used to cheat people. Victims were identified using UPI apps and then duped by impersonation. Honey trapping and blackmailing people was also part of the modus operandi. The accused were 18 to 35-year-olds working in groups of 4. They acquired SIM cards, bank account details, stolen phones and technical services, so to say, through certain people in the village. The police, of course, saying that there is no kingpin involved and there were groups of people doing this in New. At least 547 SIM cards were acquired from 14 states used in the crime. Police recovered 166 fake Aadhaar cards, 5 PAN cards, 128 ATM cards, 66 mobile phones, 99 SIM cards, 5 point-of-sale machines and 3 laptops from the accused.
It was very much serious and it was developing at an exponential rate. So we had to intervene to break the nexus of this crime. The Cybercrime Coordination Center provided us a link, their linkages with the 28,000 complaints which have already been registered with the different states. And the total amount of the fraud was totaling around 100 crore rupees. So it was a very big racket. And by our raid, a lot of criminals have fled away the district.
Well, with less than 10 days before a possible debt default, United States President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy have called their latest talks on debt ceiling productive. However, no deal has been reached yet. NBC's Bree Jack
cuts are off the table.
Well, golden boy Nila Chopra makes history, has become the first Indian to seal the numero uno position in world javelin rankings. The Olympic gold medalist pipped Grenada's Anderson Peters by 22 points to claim the top spot. He had been ranked second since September last year. And well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you so much for watching. News and updates continue right here on CNBC-TV18.